chains are broken, no longer bound. Death was defeated, can't hold you down. I'm free. In my darkness, you are the light, and through every trial, you're by my side. In all I do, Lord, be glorified.
Jacob, I think this was a song that was kind of birthed out of a idea that you had, right? Do you want to share about that?
Yeah, it's actually it's kind of weird. I had just a random day. We were going through old voice memos on my phone, and I came across these words that are in the chorus. I was lost, you say I'm found. My chains are broken, no longer bound. And it was a voice memo from probably 2 years ago. I don't remember where it came from. I don't remember how I got it, but we came across it, and I thought, there's something there. And so we just kind of ran with that, and I started playing. As you guys hear, you'll hear the song. It's very different. It's not your typical worship song. It's not your typical worship chords. It's not your typical worship melodies. And so that for me is why I love this song so much. I mean, it's different than what you would normally hear on the radio, and I'm different. I like different music. I grew up listening to R&B and jazz and country, like all kinds of combinations. And so one of the things that I like is that there are some jazzy chords in it. There are some different chords. And so, we kind of ran with that. Like I said, I was playing a weird progression that I wouldn't normally play in a song, and we ran with it and just kind of singing melodies that I thought, what's something different we could do. And so started singing melodies that may have been different and going along with the chords and just kind of flowing in that moment. And that's kind of where it came from. It wasn't a let's sit down and write it. It was, let me play these chords and kind of see where that leads me musically and where that leads me with melodies and dynamics and just different things. So it was actually a really cool song to be a part of.
Yeah, I mean, I know we had the first 4 lines of the chorus, or chorus 1A, if you want to call it that, and thinking like, man, if we just had like 4 more, I think we, kind of doubled the chorus, wrote another 4 lines, and that kind of took it to the next level. And I think adding in the verse 3 at the end is kind of really brought it full circle. And I think, a few of us have said how much those lines mean to this song and meant to us and how it resonated with us. And so, I think the verse 3 and adding the second half of the chorus was huge for this song.
Yeah, and I remember too, because Jacob was just playing through the chord progression, and Marissa was just, I could see like it was kind of like starting to flow out of you a little bit, and then she dropped like that melody for that verse, and it was just perfect. That kind of sealed up like where we could go with the next progressions for the verses, and and it all just came together at that point.
But one of the coolest lines that stuck out to me was kind of the idea. Again, I mean, we write music weekly, daily. We spend a lot of time writing, and so you always think, what can we do different? What can we do to spice it up? And one of the things that's different is, you think about it, most every song has, verse, chorus, verse 2, chorus, bridge. That's the song. We didn't want to write something like that, and so we actually decided to end the song on a verse. And I think that's one of the coolest things that stuck out to me is ending the song with a verse, but also the thought that goes into these lines. And so the lines that I choose are verse 3, and it just sticks out to me. In the times that I forget the price that you paid for me, will you take my hand and walk me back to Calvary, to see all of my rebellious ways covered in your endless grace. And I think to end a song with those lines, it's the nail in the coffin, so to speak. It's the period at the end of a sentence that really, really sold it for me.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, just to echo that, and I totally agree that those are the lines that they really took this song to the next level. And just like reading the lyrics, the Bible talks about working out your salvation. That when you get saved, it's not like life just automatically becomes better, and it's not like you automatically have this amazing relationship with God. It's like this daily thing that you have to remind yourself of the price that Jesus paid for you. And so the times that you drift from that, reminding yourself, man, like, let's go back to the cross. Let's remember how sinful I am as a human being, as someone who lives in the flesh, but then also get reminded of the price that was paid on the cross, to know that sin that, man, I find it in my life so much, has been paid for. And that's a way to kind of recenter and recalibrate yourself as a Christian when you say, God, take me back to Calvary and remind me of the price that you paid for me. I think it's huge.
I think for me, it would have to be in verse 2. The last two lines of that says, even when I'm without words, every breath I breathe is yours. And in Romans 8:26, it talks about the Spirit interceding on your behalf, even when you don't have the words. And so often I find myself at that spot where it's like, I just don't have anything left to say. And so, but just me breathing back to him is all that he needs to even know. Like, he already knows what it is that I'm thinking and what I'm needing before I'm even saying it. So for me, those two just really resonate in my heart and in my soul.
I think for me, it's the first two lines. I don't know what it is about the first two lines of a song, but anyway, with me. But in the darkness, you are shining out your light to me, illuminating every hope my eyes have longed to see. And that, like, I just kind of, when we were writing that, like, I pictured, like, just a lighthouse. And if you're on the sea, like being tossed by the waves, or like, I know, like, that's like kind of more metaphorically, but like in our darkness, and the things that we go through, like, we don't even know sometimes that we're looking for a light. And so, like, just that Jesus, and literally shines out a light to us, literally extends his hope to us. And it's like just so accessible for us to just be aware of and be like, oh, there's, this is available to me. I don't know. So those two lines were definitely a big thing for my heart and just what I was seeing.
Even going back and listening to voice memos of the song, we'll create like a little verse, chorus here, maybe a bridge, and listening back to the voice memos and to see it come into what it is and to come into be a complete song. For me, going back into it, I don't see this necessarily being as a song maybe that we sing every Sunday, or a song that even other churches sing every Sunday, but it's a song that I see myself listening to in a quiet time, listening to in times of prayer, listening to and worshiping through being quiet, listening, trying to hear from God. And so for me, it's something, the style of it, the music of it, the words of it, the melodies of it is something that you can use in those type settings. Again, not every week in church, but that doesn't mean it's not glorifying to God. That doesn't mean it's not something that he wants to hear. And so for me, it's something that even going back listening to the voice memos now, I like to go listen to it when I'm reading my Bible. I like to listen to it when I'm just sitting thinking of the goodness of God, thinking of the graciousness of God, and just for me, it's something that I can just have playing in the background and continue to listen to, it can be on repeat 3 or 4 times, and I still just let it play in the background. And so for me, again, not necessarily one that we do in church all the time, but definitely one that's important to kind of our style, kind of important to Northwood worship as a group. And so it's definitely more my heartbeat, my style, my the way I think of music, the way I see music. And so I love this song. I think it's probably one of my favorite ones that we've done. And so that's kind of where I see the song going. That's kind of what I see it being to people, for sure.
I will rest. You lift my burden in my weakness. You are still working. I feel it now. Your spirit stirring in me. I will rest. You lift my burden in my weakness. You are still